this story out of the Times is just really disturbing on some level. So the Maliki government has asked the U.S. government to provide essentially air power to fight back against Sunni and ISIS fighters. Now, over the past couple of days, I've spoken to Joe Cirincione from the Plowshares Fund, to Professor Juan Cole on the Ring of Fire show, and maybe we'll include the interview I did with Juan Cole on today's program. We'll tack it on for members. What's clear is that this isn't just about ISIS moving across these areas. We're also seeing largely a popular uprising by the Sunni, who are now seeing the ISIS forces, these extreme, radically extreme Islamists, if you want to say. Even though most of the Sunni are not terribly aligned directly with ISIS, they see the ISIS forces as a mechanism in which, for them to liberate themselves from what they perceive as Shia repression under the Maliki government. So when we hear stories of the Iraqi army evaporating, they're not evaporating because there's several thousand ISIS fighters. They're evaporating, and this was the sense of Professor Juan Cole and Joe Cirincione also suggested as well, that they're evaporating because there's a simultaneous Sunni uprising that is taking place, in which ISIS is functioning as the tip of the spear. And this is an opportunity for Sunnis in these areas, Tikrit, Mosul, to a certain extent, but maybe less so in Tal Afar, to essentially liberate themselves from the Shias. And ISIS is basically, like I say, the tip of the spear, tip of the arrow. And one of the things that's become clear is that the idea of providing air cover, you just can't do it unless you're prepared to just essentially open fire on Sunni civilians. Not just because ISIS is commingled, but it's not just ISIS. It is essentially the Sunni people who are saying, we don't want to live under this. And so air power, this is not as if you have these sort of large swaths of advancing armies that you could use air power to protect, I guess, the Shia-dominated Baghdad and south from an oncoming attack from ISIS forces in the north. And it's unclear as to whether or not really the ISIS forces would be effective in attacking Baghdad in any material way, because they don't have the advantage of all the people being there, being Sunni, and will not have that advantage that they had in places like Mosul, or the majority, I should say. So it seems clear that the Obama administration is not interested in airstrikes, although they're not taking them off the table at this point. They are sending 100 special ops, which I believe is part of the 275 contingency that they were sending. It's unclear what those 100 special ops will do. At the very least, they will provide protection, I guess, for the embassy, but who knows what kind of advisory role they'll play beyond that, or whether or not they'll be engaged in, I don't know, trying to take back a TV station. Who knows?